What? Oh, hey guys, it's Josh Reviews. Sorry you caught me sleeping there. I was tired because after watching those last two Scarecrow movies, I was like, man, I really need something to shake things up. I really need to just. I mean, as you can tell, I'm tired. In fact, I was lazy enough to not even put a costume on. This is my Halloween costume, by the way. But nevertheless, I have a movie to review. Now, I want to point something out. Last review, I said I was going to check out a corn maze slasher. And technically, that is what this movie is. The Bates Haunting. But initially, I was going to review Hayride. I've been putting it off every year, and I was going to review it this year. But something just told me to watch this movie. I don't know. I've been putting both movies off, and maybe I'll review Hayride at some point later in the month. Maybe not. If not, definitely next year and the sequel. But we're going to watch... I'm sorry, we're going to review Bates Haunting, because I've known about this movie forever. I always seem to have some sort of story to tell when I'm reviewing a movie. Nevertheless, so this movie is about Agnes. Her and a few of her friends are on this haunted hayride in a cornfield, and her friend Lily gets taken from the hayride and is put on for a show, and an accident happens, and she gets burned alive by this animatronic dragon, and she's traumatized. She has PTSD. She's having nightmares. And the next year, she basically loses her job, and her dad gets her an opening, he gives her a job to work at the hayride as a way to have closure or something. I don't know. It's the usual shtick of oh, you should do this so you can have closure, that type of thing. Because that's totally how that works. Anyways. People start dying, and it's up to Lily and her friend, I think it's Clyde. Why did I say Clyde? Clyde, to figure out what's going on. Meanwhile, killer's on the loose. That's pretty much the plot. I was not impressed by this cover. This cover screams, oh, this is going to be awful. But there was something about this movie that just kind of drew me in. Maybe it's the low budgetness. Sometimes the low budget can help a movie. Sometimes it can really backfire and go against the movie, because you may think, oh, low budget helps because it allows indie filmmakers to kind of get their footing in the film industry and also have them create their vision. But sometimes that backfires because they didn't have enough of a higher budget to make their vision, so therefore they can't make their vision come to life, if that makes sense. So I was kind of okay, fingers crossed. And I'll say whatever budget they had, they may do, because this movie, even though it was low budget, and you can tell it's a low budget movie, they may do the budget, whatever it was. And I'll even say that some of the actors are pretty solid. Not all of them are the best, and I think that some of them were probably just friends or family. There are at least two actors I know that have worked on other things. There are two cameo actors, I think, that are not even there. I don't even think they're actors. They're just the Jackass crew. They're from Jackass. I don't remember their names because I'm awful with names, but they're in this movie. And I was kind of oh, that's cool. That's cool. So this was probably I'm just going to assume this was a passion project thing, because you can tell that there was a lot of heart put into this movie. So I kind of feel bad that I'm going to kind of, I don't want to say tear it apart, but I am going to talk a little bit about it. First thing I liked, I actually really like Clyde and... I just blanked out. Oh my gosh, I blanked out. What's the main character's name? I just said it. It's Angela, right? Is it Angela? I am so... Wow. Agnes. Why did I say Angela? Oh my gosh, I feel like I'm having a senior moment, and I'm how many old years? Anyway, so, but yeah, Agnes and Clyde, I'm gonna keep it real. I actually like their friendship. One of the things I was watching behind the scenes, the director was talking about how he really wanted to make a focus with Agnes and Clyde, and you really get a sense for their friendship. And he felt like that was important to the film, because the film is 99% of the time focused on them. And I bought it. I like their friendship. I like their dynamic. You really get the sense that they're friends, and they kind of, I mean, they work really well off each other. I don't know if they were friends in real life, but man, I totally buy them as like being awkward friends that are just kind of like stuck in this situation they're in. The other, I don't want to say he overacts, but the guy who's playing Junior, he's crazy. I don't know if it was overacting or if it was just like, the character or, if it was the directing. But man, his performance was wild and I kind of liked it. It was pretty funny. The one thing that I'm surprised with is I actually had an entertaining time. Yeah, I did not expect that. I watched this movie because something was telling me to watch it. And not only that, but I was like, man, it's an hour and 17 minutes. That's pretty short, but a boring movie can make that time feel longer than it actually is. This felt short, and I was like, man, I kind of want it to go longer. But that does kind of lead me into my criticism. I think this movie just ends abruptly. I think the biggest problem I had with this movie is that the ending just really, it just kind of ends. It doesn't really feel like there's any resolution. Like, we get some answers as to like what, killed Agnes's friend Lily. And we get some sort of revolution, but there's not like really, it's not explicitly explained. And I don't need things ham-fisted or hammered home to the point where it's like, okay, I get it. That's what happened. I don't need some long exposition. And for the most part, they did a pretty good job. There's a car in the background at the beginning of that. But I felt like there could have been more because the ending was definitely the weakest point. I remember thinking to myself, wow, I'm actually having a decent time with this. And everyone was saying this is like awful. Letterboxd, the rating on Letterboxd is like a 1 star out of 5 or like a 1 point something out of 5. And I'm like, really? This movie? It's not, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not great. It's got some cringe-worthy acting and some awkward dialogue here and there. But the main actors do a pretty good job, and for whatever budget they had, they made do with it. And it felt like the story was going. It didn't necessarily feel like it dragged any place. But man, that ending, it just felt like there was no resolution. And honestly, I really think that there was a lot of dumb choices made in the end. Because, spoiler alert, if you are gonna watch this movie, it's on Tubi. Spoiler alert, Clyde dies. And I feel like his death could have been avoidable. I was really bummed when he died. I was thinking, man, don't kill his character off. And then he dies. And then it kind of just got into awkward territory. And the killer starts giving long exposition. And I'm like, okay, just wrap it up. Wrap it up, people. I don't care anymore. You killed one of the best characters in this movie, which shows that I like the characters in this movie, that being Agnes and Clyde. And I felt like his death could have been so avoided that I was just like, man, get on with it. Like, save him, and he just dies, and I'm like, fuck. I also think that, the whole killer motivation is weak. I also feel like for this being a slasher, it doesn't really feel like a slasher. That is another one of my criticisms, is that like this is a slasher of sorts, but it doesn't really feel like there's a killer on the loose. As rather, we're trying to figure out what's doing the kill or who's doing the killings and what's going on. I also feel like the location was a little bit wasted. You don't really get because I thought it was a hayride, but then at one point, like, they're in a haunt, and I was thinking, wait, which one is it? I know some hayrides and haunts are connected, but I was kind of like, okay, what is it? Is it a hayride? Is it a haunt? Is it both? I was confused. So little things like that. Obviously, for an indie film, yeah, there's some filmmaking techniques that, are kind of whatever. I mean, this is a low-budget movie, guys. What do you expect? I'm not over here trying to compare it to the best of the best. No, I'm looking at it for what it is. And for what it was, I had a good time. I would, honestly, this may be shocking, I'm going to give it a C. I gave Scarecrow C-. I gave Messengers 2 a C+, and I'm giving this a C. It feels like we're keeping on track with the C grade. But yeah, despite the ending, I had a surprisingly decent time. It's not great by any means. There's some hit or miss moments and some weird dialogue choices, and it could have been longer. I would have liked the ending to have been a little bit more fleshed out, but besides that, I had a good time, and if you got an hour and 17 minutes to kill, go ahead and check it out. So yeah. Anyways, guys, I'm going to go ahead and check out another movie. I don't want to say on this caliber, but it's a movie I've checked out before, so stay tuned for that. So I'll see you guys next time. Toodles.